What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Here we go again. Not surprising, but here we go again. I've been getting messages from people all over from my area, right? And they've been talking about why is Renegade all up in the 805? Why is he doing so many videos about the 805? Why isn't he doing any videos about his hometown, his county? And I don't watch his stuff, man. I really don't. I don't care to have anything to do with him or his channel. You know, to each their own. Everybody has a bed they're gonna make and they're gonna lay in it, right? And I was sent a video that this is the reason why I'm doing this video, man. Okay. When people ask me, why do I make videos on him, right? Because he doesn't make videos on me. Well, let me make it clear. There's been several videos that Renegade has made talking specifically about people that I know personally, I've done things with personally or for personally. And Renegade didn't know what he was talking about and what he was talking about. And there was no way he could know any personal details because he's never been around them. When John Diesel did an excellent video breaking down where the hell Renegade Media did his time. The vato was in the state of California briefly and then checked in. He's never been around the people he's talking about. So where is he getting all this information from? That's up to him. You know, that's none of my business. But once again, here I am. So I had already been, I believe I was in the shoe, or I may have just got out of the shoe when the vatos from Chiques went to Santa Barbara, my hometown. They got into it at a club with vatos from the east side. And when it was all said and done, one east sider unfortunately lost his life and another was gravely injured, right? Well, let me let you guys in on something. When I paroled in January of 1993, I remember one day going hunting. It was 2 carloads of us from my neighborhood. We went into the east side hunting, looking for dudes from the east side. Couldn't find anybody. On our way back to the west side, we were driving by the East Side Boys Club, the downtown boys club they call it. And there was an East Sider. We got one. We pulled over ASAP, smashed the brakes, and it was Mike Torres, the one that was killed in 1997 in the incident involving whoever was involved from Chiques and the East Side. As soon as I saw that it was Mike, I told my homeboys, get in the car. Mike was a friend of mine when we were kids. So he got a pass. He could have wound up dead that day. But again, he was a friend of mine when we were kids. He got into the east side at some point. I'm from the west side. So here we go again. Once again, here we go. This individual who has never met somebody is talking about a case, is talking about someone that I know, a friend of mine. let me let you guys in on some other stuff. I got out of the SHU in 99. I landed on B facility in Pelican Bay. And even though Renegade doesn't know how to say anybody's name, I'll say his name. Ephine. Ephine was on the yard with me. So was the guy that wound up wearing the fucking wire. And Renegade acts like that dude that wore the wire was some honorable ass dude. He wasn't. He wasn't. He was a dude from Colonia that didn't like Ephine's cousin. Ephine was a Christian. Ephine never banged, wasn't pushing no line, nothing. I told a story years ago about the buildup to the riot. And I said that a Christian came up to me, and it was Ephine. Because on the side of the yard we're on, which is not the side that everybody sees when they show the riot and they say, oh, the Mexicans outnumbered. No. The other side of the yard, Mexicans were very outnumbered. And I remember the day before the riot, Ephine coming up to me, and he said, I don't know what to do. He said, I know I have to get off. He said, but I feel like I need a knife, and I'm struggling with it because him as a Christian, he knew he's not supposed to hurt people. And he said, we're so outnumbered on this side of the yard, I feel like I need a knife. I said, you don't need a knife. Just get off, Holmes. Everybody that carries knives on them all the time, they're going to use them. Everything's going to be all right. Don't do something you're not comfortable with. Just make sure you get off. I don't know, man. You know, I'm telling you, there's so many stories I could tell and I don't tell for a reason. And there's going to be people that see this and they're going to say, I'm just trying to get views off of that other dude's name. I'm not. I'm just wondering, why does he keep talking about people he's never met in his life? Why does he keep talking about people that there's no way in hell he could know the details? You know, the confidential informant, just to let you guys in on this, that dude was a confidential informant on the streets. Nobody knew. He had never told in prison. And he made it his mission. If I remember correctly, he was serving 18 years. And he saw a way out of prison. He didn't give a fuck about Mike. He didn't give a fuck about Ephine. He saw a way out of prison. You're going to tell the story, tell it right. Because after it all came out, I used to get the Santa Barbara News Press. The Santa Barbara News Press did like a whole week-long series on everything that happened. The confidential informant contacted his old handler on the streets. And he told him, hey, that thing that happened on State Street, I know what really happened. Allegedly. And so Renegade's right. They did go and visit him in Pelican Bay. I'm surprised he left out what the newspaper had to say. That the informant was so fucking scared that he wouldn't talk on the phone and visiting. That he had them give him a pen and a piece of paper, and he would write down what he wanted to say, and he would hold it up on the window for the cops to read it, and then he would rip it up and swallow it. And he told the cops that the reason why he was doing that was because the COs were going to let the powers that be, not talking to cop, know what he was doing. Surprised Renegade missed that saucy ass piece of information. But I can guess why he didn't know. Now, that dude wore a wire. And I remember in the newspaper they said that the guy wearing the wire, you could tell he was so scared because they could hear his heart racing and pounding on the wire. The wire was inadmissible for a reason. Ephine was able to get out of prison. The confidential informant, he was able to get out of prison. That's all he cared about. He did not care whether Ephine got out or whether anybody was busted. All he cared about was getting out. Just like that's all he cared about on the streets and why he was a fucking rat on the streets. He was ratting on his own homeboys. So him going to wear a wire, volunteering to wear a wire against somebody else from Colonia was no surprise. We were just surprised that he was on the yard. Nobody ever knew. The 1996 riot in New Folsom was way worse than the 2000 riot in Pelican Bay. That confidential informant was in that riot. It was his first day on the yard and that riot kicked off. And I remember the build-up to the 2000 riot. He was nervous. Very nervous. Like obviously, perceptibly nervous. And being from the area, I remember I pulled him to the side. I said, "What's wrong with you, Holmes? This ain't your first riot. Why are you so nervous?" And he kept saying, "I got a bad feeling about this one, eh?" He's a big dude with hands. And he said, I got a bad feeling about this shit. No, what it was is he had already reached out to the authorities and none of us knew. The day before the riot, maybe it was 2 days before the riot, a couple stabbings occurred. The first one occurred, they resumed the yard, surprisingly. We're a modified yard. And another incident occurred. It was supposed to be a stabbing. Whatever happened, happened. That time, that CI had been moved from our side of the yard to in front of medical. Those of you that have been to the Bay, you know. There's a caged-in area. It's open. The gate is open, though. That's where you go to wait for medical and canteen. And the CI was parked in that spot when the yard went down. They resumed the yard, and that pussy saw his opportunity. The dude that had just got moved on and the yard had just resumed was inside medical. And the CI rushed, busted through the door to medical because they were trying to close it, bulldozed through all the cops, got to the victim, and started getting off on him, but with fists only. And I remember when it happened, people were like, it's kind of a fucking PC move right there. We're getting off tomorrow. We're shorthanded on this side of the yard. We need everybody we can have, everybody we can get. That's some pussy shit, eh? Again, we didn't know. But it came out when I was in the shoe, the Santa Barbara News Press article. Congratulations on his freedom as far as Ephine. Congratulations, Ephine. Like I said, he was a Christian. He was on the yard with me. Once again, Renegade is talking about people he's never met in his fucking life. He's talking about open cases once again. He's trying to solve crimes once again. I don't get it, eh? I really don't. But I promise you. Every time he talks about somebody that I know personally, I'm probably going to say something about it. You know, Mike's mom, Mike Torres, my friend who, hey, it's gangbanging. It happens. The mom lost Mike to gangbanging, right? Well, Mike has a brother doing life. And, another funny thing is if Renegade really did know who he was talking about, he would know what family Mike came from. And he would know some history about that family because that family had ties to Babo Sosa. But see, Renegade don't know nothing about those people. He likes talking about everything down south where he's never been, who he's never ran with, who he could never know details about. Yet somehow he's putting out videos, deadly videos, every day. It's my video for the day, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.